Welcome to the 2021 Local Elections Candidate Forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Amarillo. I'm Sonya Letson, president of the Amarillo League. This forum is being produced and co-sponsored by Panhandle PBS, and through their technical expertise, we are able to bring you candidates in 11 different contested races presented over 2 days, April 11th and April 18th. On the 11th, we will present candidates for the city elections in Amarillo and Canyon. And on April 18th, we will present races for the Amarillo College Board of Regents and the boards of trustees for 3 different school districts, Amarillo ISD, Canyon ISD, and River Road ISD. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization which operates at the national, state, and local levels. There are over 700 local leagues around the country. The League of Women Voters of the United States and the League of Texas are both over 100 years old. The Amarillo League is over 70 years old. Our volunteers have been working for voting rights and helping to educate voters for a century, even before women gained the right to vote. On behalf of our members and supporters, we are so pleased to be able to present this forum to our community. The League does not endorse or oppose candidates or parties. We encourage informed and active participation in government at all levels, and we seek to register, educate, and motivate every citizen to vote. We believe that our democracy works best and our republic is stronger when everyone participates, and that voting should not be difficult. Voting should be easy and convenient. We know that voters prefer to cast an informed ballot, and so we educate voters through forums like this one, and also through our Voters Guide. The guide is now available at public libraries, community centers, retirement communities, and many businesses in Amarillo and Canyon. You can also use the League's online Voters Guide, vote411.org, to create and print your own personalized ballot. Vote 411 has the candidate information found in the printed guide, but you can also use it to link to candidate emails and websites. Remember, you cannot use your cell phone in the polling place, but you can take a voter's guide or other paper list so you can remember your choices. And as you will see tonight, there are many races on the ballot. So study the races and issues, decide how you want to vote, then take your list or voter's guide with you. Early voting begins on Monday, April 19th and runs the whole week until Friday, April 23rd, then resumes on Monday and Tuesday, April 26th and 27th. Election day is Saturday, May 1st. We encourage you to vote early if you can. You will find a list of polling places and times in the voter's guide, or you can link to them on Vote 411 or by going to your county election administrator's website. For answers to questions about voting by mail, hand delivering a mail ballot, curbside voting, what to take to the polls as ID, and many other topics, see the voter's guide or call your election administrator. And don't forget, when you go to vote, thank the election workers. They make it possible for us to exercise our right to vote. Our 2 forums on the 11th and 18th have been organized by the League's Director of Forums, Linda Vaughn, and will be moderated by 3 capable women. Karen Welch, Senior Content Producer at KACV, will moderate the forum for the City of Amarillo and City of Canyon. Jill Gibson, Chair of Mass Communication at Amarillo College, will moderate our forum for school board candidates, and Leanne Cossey Overstreet, Public Information Officer for the Randall County Sheriff's Department, will moderate our forum featuring candidates for the Amarillo College Board of Regents. Thank you all for joining us and for educating yourself about this election. I will now turn the program over to our moderators.
Thank you all for joining us. I want to welcome you, both the candidates and the citizens who are joining us, who are taking time out of their evening to learn more about the candidates who are running for election in this May municipal election. My name is Leanne Overstreet. I am a member of the Panhandle PBS Advisory Council, and I'm so honored to be here tonight. Professionally, I am the Public Information Officer and the Community Engagement Director for the Randall County Sheriff's Office. Tonight, we are focusing on two races. We will be featuring a race with the Amarillo College Board of Regents, who are present now. I will moderate that segment. And after that, we will feature three public school districts: Amarillo, Canyon, and River Road school districts. And Amarillo College Media, Arts, and Communication Chair Jill Gibson will moderate that segment. There are 6 candidates running for 3 available spots on the Amarillo College Board of Regents. Each elected regent will serve a 6-year term in office. Now, because we have so many candidates, the time we get to spend with you all is shorter than we would like for it to be. And so each candidate will be asked at the very beginning to give a 1-minute introduction to the audience and to describe his or her background and qualifications and the reason that you are seeking this office. Following the introductions, we will ask each of the candidates a series of questions, and we've established a few rules, some guidelines, if you will, just to make sure that we stay on a timely schedule. First, each of the candidates will have 1 minute to answer each question. I will rotate the order in which the candidates answer so that different candidates have a chance to go first. The candidates will need to pay attention to the clock on your screen. You can see it's yellow there and it says 1 minute. When that clock turns red, it is time to stop speaking. Please do not refer during your answers to your opponents during your remark or your remarks, and please keep your remarks appropriate for that general audience. So we will start with the first question. We're going to start in alphabetical order, and you will each have 1 minute to introduce yourselves and tell us your qualifications. We will start with Mr. Betancourt.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Betancourt, and I am a born and raised citizen from our great city of Amarillo. Also, I'm a former school board trustee for Amarillo ISD. And I would like to take the experience that I gained in advocating for public education to the next level and represent you on the governing body board as a regent for the Amarillo College Board of Regents. Professionally, I work in the funeral industry, and so I meet with families to discuss and plan out their final plans. But I would like to take the opportunity in representing you to focus on the career programs that Amarillo College has to offer the future students and also the future citizens. That way, so we can make sure we lift up our community together and everyone takes advantage of what a great facility and organization and educational institution Amarillo College is.
Thank you, Mr. Betancourt. Anette Carlisle, you're next.
Thank you, and thank you for having me, and thank you to the League of Women Voters and Panhandle PBS for hosting these forums. They're very important. I'm Anette Carlisle. I'm a passionate advocate for public education at all levels. I served for 19 years on the Amarillo ISD Board of Trustees. I have served 6 years on the Amarillo College Board of Regents. I was founder and director of Panhandle 2020, where we worked with numerous organizations across the region, and especially in Amarillo, to improve the educational attainment levels of all our citizens and to help move families out of poverty through education. I believe those 25 years as an elected official, both at the state and national level, the working, yeah, you'd think I'd be used to this after 25 years. I think I can use my experience that I've gained over those years to help serve the citizens and the students. Thanks.
Thank you, Annette. Next up, Mr. Hinkie.
My name is Daniel Hinkie, and I'm running for re-election to the Amarillo College Board of Regents. I'm a long-term resident of Amarillo, and my family has a long history in support and attendance at Amarillo College. I've served on the board for 6.5 years. I was appointed to an unexpired position in 2014 and elected to a 6-year office in 2015. I currently serve as the chairman of the Finance Committee and provide guidance to the board on the bond referendum construction projects. My education background, which includes a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and Master of Business Administration, my industry experience, which includes engineering, construction, project management, senior leadership in a multi-billion-dollar corporation, entrepreneurial spirit, and fiscally conservative background make me a prime candidate to be an AC Regent. I got my start at Amarillo College in 1983 and look forward to serving again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Mr. Adrian Meander.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Adrian Meander. I'm born and raised, homegrown right here in Amarillo, Texas. I'm a product of Amarillo College. I got my start there. The reason I'm running to be a Board of Regent is the ability to have the opportunity to work with a group of individuals who, as myself, has the best interest at heart for education. I'm a firm believer in education. I'm a strong believer in education. It's a way of giving back as a support, and I feel that I would be a great candidate for this reason, to give back and build the bridges and keep the connections with Amarillo College in our community and the great things that come along with it. So if the opportunity presents itself, I would like your vote to be the next candidate for the Board of Regents for Amarillo College. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Don Nicholson, you're next.
Hi, my name is Don Nicholson. I am formerly on the Board of Regents for Amarillo College. I served almost 10 years, was chairman for 4 of those years. I've also represented Amarillo College at the Texas Association of Community Colleges and the Community College Association of Texas Trustees. Did that for 3 years down in Austin. I have a master's degree from Texas A&M University, as well as a Bachelor of Science degree from there in ag education. I've spent my life working in an ag-based format, at least until I got to college. And then I started oil and gas, got into education. I have a lifetime teaching certificate in biology, vocational agriculture, and chemistry. Amarillo College has had a special place in my heart.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholson. I appreciate that. We are moving on to the second question. How does Amarillo College support students who are also working sometimes more than one job, often as single parents? For this question, we will start out with Mrs. Carlisle.
Well, thank you. How does Amarillo College support their students? Wow, that's the perfect question, and the wonderful answer is in a myriad of ways. Panhandle 2020 was an organization I started and ran, and we focused on low levels of educational attainment and poverty, and Amarillo College was a part of that, and they built into their systems supports that meet the low-income needs, or the needs of our low-income students. They have emergency aid funds. They have the Advocacy and Resource Center. We have shifted to in numerous ways. We've shifted to 8-week classes to better serve our low-income students. We have a clothing closet and a food pantry. And we have shifted now to online learning or remote learning because of pandemic when needed.
Thank you, Annette. Next, we have Daniel Hinkie.
Our demographics at the school, our average student is about 27 years old, female, working 2 part-time jobs with 1.2 kids. And so this is very important to the school. We have the culture of caring. We have the food pantry. We have the Thrive Scholarship in conjunction with the Amarillo Area Foundation, the AEDC, and AISD, which provides books and tuition funding for up to 60 hours of school. Russell and the whole staff in Amarillo College, we know that's kind of our common demographics, and we are definitely catering to that along with our students that aren't in poverty or have don't need all the financial aid. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkie. Next, Adrian Meander.
One of the ways that I feel that they really support their students is through the theory of change, to where they called in a group of students and got their feedback and sat them down and listened to the students to see how everyday life works for the student. Because as we know, life happens, and when life happens, things change, circumstances change, priorities change. And they went from going to where it takes a student from almost complete AC 3 to 4 years to revamping their semesters into where you can now take courses into 8-week courses, and again, online courses in the Panhandle 2020, all the different programs and services that they offer the students for support to help them complete Amarillo College, to help them get on the right track and to get started to where their education is not interrupted. So to me, the biggest part of that was the theory of change, to where you can now revamp the courses in a semester to where they can now complete a semester within 8 weeks.
Thank you, Adrian. Mr. Betancourt, are you ready?
Most definitely. Just like Daniel had mentioned, that Amarillo College works under a culture of caring, and that's because of the average student being 25 years old, being female, raising 1 to 2 students in her household. And it has also been told that the majority of the students are one financial crisis away from having to make a decision if they're going to continue classes or having to drop out. And that could be something as simple as having to replace a flat tire. And so that's why it's so important that we all in our community are stakeholders in the educational and attainment of our students. That way, so we can lift everybody up. So a student doesn't have to have the stress of, and when life does happen, making that hard decision of what they're going to do, of what supports their family.
Thank you, John. Mr. Nicholson, please go ahead.
I think that's part of this question. I think we do look at where people have problems and try to work with them. And that's one of the things that I know was fostered all the way back through. It's been a change, though. It's been a subtle change that the staff, the faculty, the administration at Amarillo College has addressed. They want to find out why a student is not succeeding and work with them. And if it takes input from the Amarillo College Foundation, which has provided some seed money to help on the day-to-day cash shortages that may fall into the food pantry and so forth. It's just an amazing growth that has happened there. And being on the board of High Plains Food Bank for 32 years, I can tell you that it's only going to get worse, and Amarillo College is there to make it better.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholson. Now we will move on to the third question. Are there new degree plans or subjects that you think should be offered at AC? And again, we will start with Daniel.
Sure, thanks. Well, a new one that we just created just in the last couple of months was the School of Cinematic Arts in collaboration with Sharpened Iron Studios. So people can get degrees in film editing and other things around the motion picture industry. Coding is another thing that we're looking at, whether it's coding or app development. We're bringing in some outside talent into our teaching staff and bringing in some consultants because a lot of our staff don't necessarily have the ability right now to teach some of the coding or some of this app development. But no, we're continually, that's the thing, the workforce and what the community is requiring of our students is ever changing. And so we're continually looking at ways of things we need to develop to help our students be successful in their environment.
Thank you. Adrian, you're next.
Well, Amarillo College offers over 140 degrees and programs, and one that I feel that's a need and they're continually to work on is through the coding and the technology. As we're living in today's times, we're a technology-driven society, technology-driven world. So my opinion, I feel that to bring back the existing degrees for technology and encoding and really enhancing the CIS degrees, because we're living towards a technology-driven economy, a technology-driven world around our community. It's a way of giving back to where we can really support industries for that need, to where we don't have to outsource jobs or outsource contracts. Things can stay right here in the home, in our community. So I would really say technology-driven, really focusing more in depth on CIS.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Mr. Nicholson, you're up again.
One of the strengths that Amarillo College has shown over the years has been its ability to respond to the employer needs and the changing technology that's out there. I don't care if you're talking about welders that they trained back when the pipelines were being built, up through the wind technology programs that we've had. I can foresee that technology is one of the big things, and Amarillo College works with it. I don't care if we're talking about electric powered vehicles that we see coming down the road to this Amazon fulfillment center that's coming up. I'm sure there are places and jobs there that we will be able to train people. But we also need to work with the soft skills, those skills that the employee needs to interact with its coworkers, management, and with the customers that are out there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nicholson. Appreciate that. Next, Mr. Betancourt.
I agree with everything that everybody said in regards to the technology and the coding, but one thing that I would like to focus on is Amarillo College has done a great job in identifying the work-based programs and what their goal is, that 90% of the students will possibly complete one by the year 2025. With their collaboration and the implementation of the Innovation Outpost, I believe that we are learning to grow our own. That way, like somebody had said, that way we can grow our own, so we can make sure that we retain that talent here in our communities. And then also, I think that also with collaboration with the local school districts, with a Thrive program, that we're already planting seeds into our future workforce, into our future students. That way we make sure that we retain all that talent here.
Thank you, John. Annette?
Amarillo College is looking ahead to plan for the future that's coming, not just reacting to it when it hits. To that end, we started the Apple app development courses, which I've taken. So I'm not a whiz at them, but it's really a great way to get your hands on and understand the future. The future of electric vehicles has been mentioned. Trying to rethink maybe where some of our truck driving efforts go. Do they need to be reskilled and build on the existing technologies that are emerging? Technology is a huge part of it. Also, agriculture and biotechnology would be things we need to focus on because of renewable energy, because of our agricultural community. We're working with the local workforce and labor market to figure out what the needs are coming, and we're going to adapt to this.
Thank you so much, Annette. Our fourth and final question. How are funding shortfalls tied to enrollment, and how should AC address reductions in funding? We will start with Mr. Meander.
How? Good question. I think funding shortfalls, would fall again with enrollment. I think AC is in a good condition financially. One of the issues that possibly they're facing now would be the possible state funding, and it's due to enrollment because of lack of student enrollment due to the pandemic. I think, again, revamping the enrollment, making sure, following back on the issue of the students, why students enrollment is down, if it's because of something like the pandemic or is it because of the economy, making sure that the programs there are solid, classes are solid, things are going well, financial aid department is solid. So I think one of that is to continue to revamp the financial side of things, scholarship side of things, and make sure that the students' whereabouts are being taken care of to where enrollment is not affected. That's one way I feel.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Don, you're up.
Hey, as funding shortfalls are going to be a fact of life. We've addressed them, we've adjusted for them in the past. We'll figure out a way to do it this time. I don't think salary cuts are anything we would ever look at, because our staff are our core institutional assets that we want to keep. The hard thing is we can't pass that alone. I think the legislature does recognize the benefits that community colleges have provided to the Texas workforce. And I think they will step up to the plate at some point in time. We're finding out four-year colleges have their place, but they're not for everybody. And the community college, especially Amarillo College, with its high standards, is filling that gap and making things work for the average worker.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nicholson. Mr. Betancourt.
Due to COVID, we have seen student enrollment down as to where we were enrolling 10,000 students per year. Now it's 9,000. And so that's probably about a 6% decrease in the student enrollment. And because of that, there are the possibilities of having some decreased funding from the state. So what does that mean? That means that Amarillo College thinks out of the box. We look at other ways to how we can increase our funding and increase our net worth. And so I think that the current Board of Regents and then also administration has done a remarkable job in looking into the future that way, so we don't have those budget shortfalls that way, so we don't have to depend on that state funding. And so that way we can be self-sufficient.
Thank you, John. Mrs. Carlisle?
Funding is always going to be the key issue for community colleges and their sustainability. We get funding from the state, from local taxes, and from tuition, and some federal grants and other grants. But we really have to focus on what the state can do for us. The state legislature is supportive of community colleges, but often we get overlooked. I serve on the CAT board that was mentioned earlier, the Community College Association of Texas Trustees. I'm on their legislative committee, and we are working to really ask the legislature to come up. We know it's not going to be a lot more money, but sustainable money amounts, and also hold harmless so that community colleges don't lose funding based on enrollment losses because of COVID. Now, the Senate stripped that out. We'll see what the House does. Thanks.
Thank you, Annette. And Mr. Hinkie.
Yes, so ever since I've been on the board, our state funding has continued to decrease. It's down to about 20% of our total annual budget of $73 million. Some of the things we've done, we right-sized the college in some areas. Other things, some of that state funding is based on the 3-year completion rate. When I joined the board 6.5 years ago, our completion rate was around 35%. Now it's at 58%, and our goal is 70%. Some of the things that are helping with that, 80% of our classes, as Annette mentioned earlier, are now 8-week classes, which is helping us with better completion rates. So funding's going down, but we figured out ways to manage around that, and we will continue to do so.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And thank you all to all the candidates and the citizens who participated in the forum. We are going to take a short break while we turn the program over to Jill Gibson, the Chair of Media Arts and Communication at Amarillo College, and she will moderate the forum for our public school districts.
Hi, my name is Peggy Thomas. I am a proud graduate of Amarillo College, and I'm running for the Amarillo College Board of Regents. The reason I'm running is that I want to be able to give back to the college that gave me so much. As a fiscal conservative, I've been endorsed by the Amarillo taxpayers, and I believe that I can bring a unique perspective to the board because I was a mom of 3 sons while I was attending Amarillo College, and I gained some of the experiences that our typical student at Amarillo College has. I believe I can bring that to the board and have a fresh perspective that will help us in understanding our students as well as budgeting our finances and preserving the taxpayer's dollar. I would like for you to consider me when you vote for the Amarillo College Board of Regents, Peggy Thomas. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, candidates and citizens watching this League of Women's Voters Forum on our local school district races. I'm Jill Gibson. I'm the Chair of Media Arts and Communication at Amarillo College, and I will be your moderator for this forum. We're going to cover the races for 3 different public school districts during this broadcast. The Amarillo Independent School District has 7 candidates who are vying for 4 open spots on the district's Board of Trustees. Canyon ISD has 3 contested trustee races with 2 candidates each, as well as 1 uncontested race. And the River Road ISD has 5 candidates competing for 4 positions on the board. School board trustees in all 3 districts serve a 4-year term. And we will cover each board alphabetically, starting with Amarillo ISD. Now, we do have a lot of candidates, so we can only spend so much time with each candidate. Each candidate will be asked to give a 1-minute introduction describing their background and qualifications and reason for seeking office. Then after the introductions, the candidates will be asked a series of questions, and you will have 1 minute to answer the question. I will be rotating the order in which you answer, so I will call on you. So different candidates will have a chance to go first. Now, candidates, do pay attention to the clock on your screen. When the clock turns red, you're out of time. Please don't refer to your opponent or opponents in your remarks, and do keep your remarks appropriate for a general audience. If a candidate has declined our invitation to appear, I'll let the audience know if we know of any reason. It could perhaps be technical difficulties. And we will hear from a candidate in a contested race if the other opponents cannot appear. So with that, we will start with AISD. And so we will now be turning to the candidates for AISD. We are going to begin in alphabetical order. And so we are going to start with an introduction from Mr. Anderson.
My name is Bennie Anderson. I am the pastor of the New Hope Missionary Baptist Church here in Amarillo, Texas. I am from Andrews, Texas. I am a Mustang, class of '87. Proud parent of 2 children, Maya and BJ. BJ is a recent graduate of Tascosa High School. My family, I have family ties here. My great-grandfather was the first Black principal here in the city. Also, he planted a church here. My grandfather was a pastor here. So I feel a dual obligation to my city, to my community, to represent the household of faith and also the education.
Next, we will turn to Doyle Corder for an introduction.
Great, thank you. Thank you for having me here. My name is Doyle Corder. I've been a resident of Amarillo for 20 years. I'm a lifelong resident of the Panhandle and love the Panhandle and the Panhandle people. I came here in 2000 with my wife and then 2 kids. We have 3 now to serve the Southwest Church of Christ, and I've served here for those 20 years and led here for those 20 years. Since we moved here, my wife is a music teacher at South Georgia Elementary School, so she's been in the district for those 20 years. And I have looked for any way I can to serve this district and help this district and be a part of this district, from PTA president to field trips to outdoor education with South Georgia every year. In 2011, I was asked by the Amarillo High School band staff to join them as a part-time percussion instructor. So for the last 10 years, I've been in the district with them. I was joined the school board in December of 2019. So I'm looking to serve again and looking for your vote.
Neither Charles D'Amico or Kayla Mendez are with us this evening. So we're now going to turn to Luis Montano.
My name is Luis Montano. I'm 72 years old. I've served in 3 different school districts in the capacities of elementary, secondary teachers, campus administrator, as well as central office administrator. 8 years with Hereford, 3 years with El Paso, and 29 years with Amarillo Independent School District. I've been the TSDA president in 1 local association, 4 years as the president for the retired teachers, teacher of the year in our campus, and just about the general stuff that goes on with our education classes and campuses. I've been married to my wife, Sylvia, for 52 years, and we have two daughters, Mindy, who's an employee, a teacher with Amarillo Independent School District, and Melody, who is a court reporter for Orlando in Orlando, Florida.
Now, Mr. David Nance.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for hosting us. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum, and certainly appreciate their support of our democracy. So again, my name is David Nance. I'm a lifelong resident of Amarillo, Texas, graduated from Tascosa High School in 1988. So all of my education was through the AISD system. My wife and I have 3 children. 2 of them are recent graduates for the AISD system and are studying at Baylor University. And then my son is a sophomore here within the school district. So it's been my distinct privilege of serving on the Board of Trustees since July of 2019. So I've seen firsthand just the outstanding work that our staff and teachers have done, especially during this COVID pandemic, to make sure our kids are back in school. So I have enjoyed that process. It's truly been an honor for me, and look forward to continuing to serve the AISD community. Thank you.
And now we're going to conclude introductions with Don Powell.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you for having this forum. I'm Don Powell. Amarillo, Texas is all I've known. I've lived here all of my life. I married my high school sweetheart. We're both graduates of Powell High School. I started at Forest Hill, Harrisman, Powell High School. We have 2 boys. They are products of the Amarillo Independent School District. My sister taught 30 plus years within the Amarillo Independent School District. Saving except one's faith. There's nothing more important than education. It's really critical to our way of life that we educate young people to be productive citizens. All of the quality of life issues, healthcare, criminal justice, all the things that we enjoy are a product of education. Nothing is more important. So that's the reason I'm running for the Amarillo Independent School District. I have a background in education. I was privileged to serve in Amarillo College, the Texas A&M University Board of Regents. I'm done. That's great.
Now we'll turn to our first question. And the first person we're going to ask to speak is Mr. Doyle Corder. The question is about an issue that several of you brought up in your opening remarks, the pandemic. Many educators do agree that there's been a loss of learning during the pandemic, which may put students at a disadvantage going forward. How do you feel the district should address this loss of learning? Mr. Corder?
Well, I think we've taken a great step already towards addressing the loss of learning. We began face-to-face learning for about 80% of our students on September 1st. Now it's about 90% that are face-to-face and 10 that we've allowed to stay virtual so they can continue learning. We have 50% of our state that still is not face-to-face in their learning. So I just want to say that I'm proud of what the board has done this year to lead during this crisis and get them face-to-face. In the future, we will be addressing those learning gaps, as some call the COVID cliff, from all across the district. We must be able to assess where they are, and that's what we're doing right now, to assess where they are educationally, and then how to best address those shortfalls, especially, I believe, in math and science. Those have been the largest drop-offs.
We'll now address that question to Mr. Montano about the loss of learning during the pandemic and what the district should do to catch up.
Well, certainly we have some lost some time there, but one of the things that the teachers often say and do and believe is that we monitor and adjust to the situation. So I believe before we do anything insofar as progressing forward with what learning we've lost, is we need to get these teachers involved and find out what exactly they feel we need to do in order to go ahead and progress forward. We can't leave these teachers out in the open or out in the field without getting their input. It's very important that we do that. And so far as the virtual teaching is concerned, it's a reality. We're here. We need to address it not only positively, but in a manner that's acceptable to all of them. We have youngsters who are far better advanced in that than most of us adults, and I think we need to get some of their ideas just the same. But I think the center point of all of this needs the inclusion of the teachers and what they have to say about the situation.
Turning now to Mr. Nance for your response to this question.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, if we've learned anything through the COVID pandemic, it's the importance of education, and specifically the importance of face-to-face instruction. And again, I am so grateful for our teachers that have provided that for us. That being said, the reality is we must offer education on multiple different platforms. One thing the board took action on was making sure that every one of our students, K through 12, was able to receive the technology they needed through the one-to-one initiative to make sure they had Chromebooks to be able to learn. So that is a significant investment that the school district has already taken. I am a firm believer that the best place for our students to be are in the classroom. And again, we must do that by exercising the safety protocols that are already in place, but we will continue to address those and also make sure that any adjustments that need to be made from the COVID situation will continue to be thought through and carried forward.
Thank you. Turning to Mr. Powell.
Yes, I think data shows that the classroom teaching experience is by far the best, but you must recall this was a crisis we've never experienced. So I think we have to take that into consideration. And I think also there was a safety issue here. Nobody wanted to put their children at risk. We didn't want to put teachers at risk. So I think that experience was a very positive experience. And I think the district handled that in a very positive way. I too agree that it's important to get feedback from not only parents, but also the teachers. Incidentally, I think the teachers are the most important component of education. I always say that every institution, the most important asset they have are the employees. So the most important assets the Amarillo Independent School District has, in my view, are the teachers. Obviously, the students are critically important, as are the taxpayers. But I think this loss of learning there's ways to structure that, but the sooner we get them back into the classroom full time, and that experience with the teacher and student will be very important.
Thank you. Okay, and finally, Mr. Anderson.
Hello, I agree with all of the answers that were given, but I want to add a different perspective and add another layer to that. I agree that the school district has done a courageous and wonderful job. The current board is doing a wonderful job in leading us. Also, I think that the teachers are very important. Their input on the conversation that needs to happen is very important. But also, I also think that there are agencies in our community that need to partner with our school district that have hands-on with our students, specifically those that are missing in action. I think the church, the age-old rich pillar that exists in the communities is a valuable resource. Also, you have other organizations that are active in all communities that can reach our students. So I think that employing the community and the impact and that we can partner together, I think that we can work together and get this done.
Thank you. Our next question is somewhat related. This question is about the technology gap for students in families with limited resources, which became apparent during the pandemic. We are going to begin with Mr. Montano. Discuss how you think AISD can or should address this technology gap.
You know, every youngster in our school district has needs to have the opportunity to be able to participate in one manner or another, whether they or not they have a computer or not. But just because they don't have one doesn't mean that they need to go without one. We've put enough stress on the taxpayer to go ahead and keep our situations going, everything like that. But someone has got to come up with enough revenue to provide this kind of instruction for our youngsters. These youngsters did not ask us to, these youngsters don't have anything to do with the bad problems that we have going, and they can't be held accountable. We need to be able to provide what we can for them so that they can have that equal opportunity to be able to pursue the happiness in life that's offered there. We need to remember these kids are youngsters, they're children. It doesn't matter whether they're kindergarten or high schoolers.
Thank you. Mr. Nance, same question regarding technology.
Yes, ma'am. As I mentioned earlier, the board took decisive action early on in this pandemic to make sure that every one of our students did have a one-to-one access to technology. That was an investment over $6.5 million. I believe over 70% of that was refunded from the state through a grant. But there is a cost to that, but it's a worthy cost to make sure every one of our students have an opportunity for success. I also want to applaud the city of Amarillo and Ginger Nelson in their efforts to make sure that broadband is available to all sectors of our community. And that is something that is ongoing. And I know those discussions, we received a report at the board here recently. Those discussions are ongoing. And certainly I believe AISD will do our part to make sure that every sector of our community has access to broadband service as well. So the one-to-one initiative is very important, but also partnering with City of Amarillo and other communities as well, just to make sure that the students have that access.
Mr. Powell.
Yes, I think the city is working on that initiative. I'm convinced that the city will have broadband within the city in a reasonable period of time. But technology is our way of life, and students that are not equipped to understand and do technology are going to be behind. So it's very important that we provide the technology expertise to these students, the instruction, the equipment, whatever they need to have, because it's the 21st century's way of life, and we've got to do it.
Thank you. Now we're going to turn to Mr. Anderson.
Okay, I agree with everything that has been said. Of course, at the last open school board, it was mentioned about the city and the school partnering to provide broadband. And I think that is most important, specifically in the community that I live. I think that there are a lot of households that are lacking. And so the effort of the school district and the city to respond to what is going on I applaud their efforts, and I look forward to partnering with them to complete this cycle or this circle or this communication, this help of our city. They need it. We all need it.
Thank you. And on this question, our last speaker is Mr. Corder.
Yeah, the technology gap is directly tied to the educational gap. The poorer parts of our district that don't have the technology needed, even without COVID, those gaps must be closed. And this district, this board has taken action to do that. Pre-COVID, we began an initiative one-to-one for first grade through 12th grade. When COVID hit, we added pre-K and K, that every student will have a Chromebook and access to some sort of hotspot or something like that to get broadband. During COVID, we provided hotspots to many that didn't have broadband. We put buses in parking lots so they could pull up and get the broadband access. We turned up our radios, and now we are partnering with the city to provide that broadband across the city for everyone. And I'll just tell you, Jeff Roller in our tech department, our chief of technology, is the best at this. We are lucky to have him, and he will keep on doing it.
Thank you. Our final question, we are going to begin with David Nance. This question is, how should the district address shrinking enrollment and subsequent loss of funding?
Great question. It's something, obviously, as a district, we have wrestled with and talked about. I think a couple of different ways you can do that. One is you need to attract students into the district, and one of the ways that we have done that is through the AmTech Career Academy. Again, this is another action that the board took during a pandemic to make sure that we were looking to the future for the success of our students. The AmTech Career Academy is more than a career academy. It's a success academy offering 9 different schools for mainly our secondary students to come and understand a pathway of success for them. So I think the more that we can do that, the better we will be. Second way is to attract the best teachers that we can. And I believe through the pay raises that we gave during this last budget cycle, we will continue to attract the best and brightest teachers to our district, which then again attracts the best and brightest students. So it's something that we have discussed, but it's something that we will also continue to strive for and make sure that we meet the challenge.
Mr. Powell.
Yeah, I think funding is always issue. Ever since I've been involved in education, funding is a critical issue. But I think it's been with us for a long time. But those who are unable to take the funding and do it in the very best way that they can with the resources they have are going to be successful. It all depends upon the teachers, retaining and attracting the very best teachers. That's the core. That's the most important thing, because instruction is key to everything. I think there's also some form of outreach of finding other ways to fund certain projects. It bothers me that we're not able to get some of these students back into the classroom. I think that should be a focus. But at the end of the day, it's about making sure we have the very best teachers, that we're providing the very best to our students and fiduciaries to our taxpayers. So I think obviously that's funding is an important issue, but we cannot do it at the expense of quality instruction.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Anderson.
Yes, I agree with everything that has been said. I really can't add much more to what has been said, other than what I said the first time, as far as our community aspect. To really partner up with our community is going to give us an opportunity to find those lost children. Their organization, as I said, organization that I'm a part of, Ministers Alliance here in our city, that has a great concern for the education. Not only that, there are other fraternities, sororities that exist in our community, also other communities that are very excited to work with and very concerned about our children. And I think that if we begin to have those conversations and employ our community, I think that this education and the pandemic is so important that we have to exhaust every means.
Very good. Mr. Corder.
Yes, ma'am. So our shrinking enrollment in 2020, in the 2020-21 year, has been mostly from pre-K and kindergarten. And so one of the things that we've done as a school district is recruited and informed, and we had an ad campaign. We went into certain neighborhoods to inform them about the great things of pre-K and K. So that's one way we address that shrinking enrollment. The other way is that we have top-notch facilities where there's not students in our district that want to go to other districts, surrounding districts, because they have better facilities. So we keep on addressing that and keep on improving our infrastructure there. And then the most proud I am of anything that we have done at AISD this year has been continuing with the AmTech Career Academy. And that is not only going to impact our students and attract students, that is going to impact Amarillo, Texas in a way that I don't even think we can dream of right now. And we continue with that.
And next we will turn to Mr. Montano for the final comment on this question about shrinking enrollment and loss of funding.
Thank you. And I certainly hope I don't open a can of worms with my comments here, but I'm really pretty strong in this aspect of it. Our knowledge and technology have been a prime objective of our school district. And the economics and political part of it has come with our community. I think what we're lacking, which leads into what problem we have right now, funding and everything else, has to do with our lack of moral and social values. I think we need to build on that, not only through the community, but through ourselves as well. For example, we can't very well award a Grammy to a singer or a group of singers that uses the N-word in there and then expect our youngsters not to understand why it is that we can't allow them to read Dr. Seuss's books. That doesn't make sense to me. The other thing we need to keep in mind too, that good gosh, teaching a youngster educational money is far less expensive than the prison system.
Thank you, Mr. Montano. That concludes our questions for the Amarillo ISD School Board. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for joining us.
Hi, my name is Kayla Mendez, and I'm running for the AISD Board of Trustees. I am a product of Amarillo ISD, graduating from Caprock High School back in 2010, and had the privilege of being appointed to the school board back in July of 2019. I would like to continue the opportunity to serve our community and serve our students and help make AISD even better than it already is.
Now we're going to turn to the Canyon Independent School Board District Board of Trustees, Place 3. We have two candidates in this race, Randy Darnell and Zack Smith, who are both with us. And I would like each of you to take up 1 minute to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, and we will start with Mr. Darnell.
Thank you, Jill. My name is Randy Darnell. I'm married to my wife, Lisa. Have been married 37 years. I have 3 children, 1 son-in-law, and 2 grandchildren. I'm a lifelong resident of Randall County. I've lived in Amarillo my entire life. I graduated from Amarillo High School and then Texas Tech and have a degree in ag economics. I farm and ranch and have done or owned and ran my own business for 38 years. I serve on the Canyon School Board and have served for 16 years. I've been a part of a team of folks that have fostered our district through the growth of students and also infrastructure. I was first appointed to serve, and the why am I running again is to continue serving. And so thank you for having me.
Thank you. And now Mr. Smith.
All right, I'm Zack Smith. I'm married to Brittany Smith. My wife is a teacher. We have 2 kids, Madeline, who's a kindergartner at Canyon at Reeves Hinger right now, and Bear, who is soon to be at Canyon. God bless his future teacher. My family has kind of been around education my whole life. My dad's a superintendent of a 5A school. My mom's a director. My aunt is a CT director. And so we just been around education a long time. I went to WT in 2012 to become a teacher myself. Chose not to go that route and have since taken a big role on at Rayburn, which is a rental store in Amarillo, and we rent equipment to contractors and subcontractors. And just seeing their needs, that has made me decide to run for Canyon ISD and try to do my part at raising a good future for Randall County.
Thank you. Mr. Darnell, what infrastructure improvements do you believe are needed in the district and why?
Well, actually, we're addressing that as we speak. In 2018, we passed a $197 million bond, and we're currently under construction of 1 new high school, 2 new elementary schools, a complete overhaul to the office space and infrastructure at Randall High School. We're resurrecting a junior high. The old Valley View will now be the Randall Junior High. And then we're doing work at Kimbrough Stadium as well. And then we've done a lot of infrastructure changes within secure vestibules in all of our other schools, and just trying to update our district buildings.
Thank you. And Mr. Smith, infrastructure changes.
Yes, ma'am. So as far as Canyon ISD is concerned, I won't necessarily repeat a lot of the things that Randy had just said. He's exactly right on the projects that are going on. As a school board, Randy included, they did an incredible job of seeing the needs of the school and putting together different committees to bring them ideas on what they thought that those needs would be. The school board then brought it to the voters. The voters agreed to do it, and things are in motion, and things are going really good. I know that there are several thousands and thousands of houses coming to the area as Amarillo grows. As the industrial side of Amarillo grows, there'll be even more. And so while this plan and what's going on now is so great, it's going to last us for a little while, but we need to set our sights ahead and look at infrastructure in the future. There's possibly a need for some elementary schools in the future. There's possibly a need for some junior highs in the future. I don't know what that brings, but I would like to set our sights forward and be prepared for that.
Mr. Smith, now let's talk about virtual learning. Many teachers and parents agree that virtual learning has been difficult for everyone. Do you see a place for continued use of virtual learning in the future in the district?
Yes, ma'am. So as far as virtual learning is concerned, that was a huge challenge, not only for the teachers, but for the working parents and for the students as well. They were missing some opportunities there to be lacking in interpretation with what their teachers were trying to discuss with them. Parents had a challenge of being at home with the students, but it was necessary. We were in unforeseen times, and we needed to do that at the time. We've proven that we can do that. We did a good job as a community at that. It's my hope that we don't have to cross that bridge again and have an opportunity to send our kids to school that we trust so much with our students. And we send our kids to school and give those teachers and administrators an opportunity to give them the education they need in person.
Thank you. Mr. Darnell, can you tell us your thoughts about virtual learning and the future of virtual learning?
Jill, I can. I would echo what Zack said, and I appreciate his comments. He's exactly right. We at Canyon feel like that we did a very good job with virtual learning. The problem with virtual learning is it was a path that we needed for a short time, but it is certainly no substitute for in-class, in-person learning. And our test scores have proven that. And we were one of the first on the onset to do away with virtual learning and not offer it. Now, in the future, I think there will be a place for it, but it will have to be modified.
The next question, and we're going to stay with Mr. Darnell on this question. How can the district best support and retain qualified teachers and other personnel?
Jill, the way we approach that is we want the very best teachers. And so we pay our teachers well. When you look at all of the schools in the Panhandle, our entry-level teachers make some $48,500, I believe, and we're second behind Amarillo by a little bit. Now, our baseline for salaries is built upon the beginning wages of our teachers. We also want to support our teachers with technology and classroom needs that they have. And so we recruit, we work with. A high percentage of our teachers come from West Texas A&M University, and we work with Dr. Wendler and in our training of teachers and also our student teaching.
Now we're going to turn to Mr. Smith to talk about the best way for the district to attract and retain qualified faculty.
So I see it similar to what Randy was saying in his comments. I think Canyon is clearly the place to be. I had told you before that I went to WT to become a teacher. My wife was at WT to become a teacher. Everybody at WT wants to be a student teacher at Canyon ISD. It's just a cool place to be. It's got good energy. The teachers are great. The environment's great. Administrators are great. The support staff is great. I actually worked for Canyon ISD for a while in college, trying to build up some TRS retirement, and worked in the bus barn. So I know the people there. I know they're great. And I would agree with Randy. I want to be able to pay these teachers with the highest salary possible. I want to give them the tools that they need to succeed and keep these teachers as happy as possible, because in my opinion, a happy administrator, a happy teacher provides a better education for the kids, in which in turn gives us a better opportunity as a community in the future. So it may cost us a little bit more now, but we will reap the benefits later.
Thank you both so much. We appreciate your time. We are now going to move on to the other places in the Canyon Independent School District. The candidates for place 4 are not with us tonight. Bill Jenkins and David Velasquez are running in that race and were unable to be here and had technical difficulties. So we will move forward. Now we're looking at the Canyon Independent School District Board of Trustees, place 6. We have 2 candidates, Vance Snyder II and Jenny Weingarner. Did I say that correctly, Jenny?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good. I want each of you to take a minute to introduce yourself to the voters. We'll start with Mr. Snyder.
First of all, thank you, League of Women Voters, for having us online this evening for this interview and a questionnaire to inform the voters. My name is Vance Snyder, And I'm recently moved here to Amarillo about 3 years ago. I grew up originally in Dumas, Texas, and I'm married. I have 2 children, Linus and Lucy. Got the Peanuts crew going on. My oldest son, Linus, is getting ready to enter the Head Start program at Canyon ISD. And, you know, as a parent, I want to make sure I'm involved more further into the process of the school itself and the education and policy making to make sure that we do continue to have these strong conservative values in our community. I'm a full-time student at WT right now at West Texas A&M. I'll be graduating in May with my degree in political science. I did work on several campaigns over the last year. I worked for President Trump's campaign as a regional field director here in Texas, and also went out to Georgia and worked out there in the U.S. Senate runoff elections as well.
Thank you. And now Ms. Weingarner.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Jenny Weingarner, and I am a mama and a wife. My husband and I have lived in Randall County for 14 years, and we have a second grader, and as of today, an 11-year-old in the 5th grade, both going to school at Canyon ISD. I manage a locally owned farm and ranch real estate auction company full-time. My husband and I both work full-time outside of the house, and I got involved with the Canyon ISD School Board 2 years ago. I got involved in some committees prior to that, but made the decision to run for the school board and have been proud to serve since that time, because I see Canyon ISD as a district that people all around the Panhandle and around the state envy, and there are a lot of reasons why. And it's easy to get involved when we have issues, but sometimes it's easier to sit back at home when things are good and say everything's on the right track. But it's important to me to be engaged and to stay involved in our district to make sure that a district that I see as outstanding continues to improve each and every day.
Ms. Weingarner, what do you believe are the 2 most pressing issues facing the district, and how would you address them?
Thank you for that. I think in our district, growth is absolutely a huge issue. It's not a matter of if growth is coming, it's here. Depending on the statistics you look at, and I know COVID has impacted some of the developments, but an estimated 60 to 70% of the growth in Amarillo is actually happening within the Canyon ISD boundary. So ensuring that our district continues to look ahead and be prepared to meet the needs of today more than 10,000 students, but a number that's growing exponentially every year, I think that continues to be a big challenge. I think the past year, as I think of the things we've been through over the past 12 months, have only highlighted not only some opportunities, but also some real strengths in our district. And I think we are aggressively looking at performance numbers and accountability in our campuses. But as I look at our numbers today, it's disappointing to me to see the gap that maybe has been created over the last 12 months. So I think continuing to push our students further.
Thank you. Mr. Snyder, can you address the 2 most pressing issues facing the district and how you would address them?
Yeah, just like Ms. Weingarner said a while ago, we do have a lot of growth coming in here, especially with the economic growth. We have a new Amazon facility coming to Amarillo. I live in South Amarillo, and I see the growth every day between construction of houses, the new subdivisions being made, and we have 2 new subdivisions, one by currently Randall High School, another one over off of Osage and South Loop. And that's just going to do nothing but promote more families coming in with these younger families to start bringing kids into our school system. So we do need to make sure that we continue to build our infrastructure to maintain that. Now, recently with a school bond that was passed a couple years ago, that was supposed to account for the growth over the next 10 years. And with each one of these houses on average, even if it's $200,000 house, $1.28 per $100 valuation, you're still looking at roughly about $2,000, $2,200 in tax income you're bringing in from that. So we should be able to account for that growth from any further tax increases with this growth that we are having at the current moment.
Mr. Snyder, many educational professionals agree there's been a loss of learning during the pandemic, which may have put some students at a disadvantage moving forward. How do you believe the district should address this issue?
We saw a great transition here within the virtual learning itself. Now, there's a difference there's some people that do thrive in that online learning environment. And it does bring them 21st century skills, especially for high schoolers getting ready to transition going into college education, because you can knock out a whole lot of your basic courses for whatever your degree plan might be at Amarillo College or WT online. So it is creating these great things. So everything between collaboration, creativity, communications, and creative thinking, all within this online learning portal. But we can't use that as a crutch moving forward, because there are some children that don't have the access to the technology. Everything from especially out here in rural Texas and rural areas, there's still an issue with rural broadband internet availability. So the technology is not all there. So it's kind of, there's pros and there's cons to both of it. But that's what I believe is the great thing about the last 12 months and transitioning and getting right back in the classroom.
Thank you. Ms. Weingartner, now your turn to discuss the loss of learning during the pandemic.
Thank you. And sadly, that gap is real. As a current board member, we assess and we evaluate performance numbers on a regular basis. And we hear from instructors, we hear from curriculum administrators, we hear from a variety of our professionals that are dealing with kids every day. And the gap is real. So I think one thing as a district that for me, I'm committed to doing is chasing those kids. It's easy to let kids kind of fall into a routine. And throughout COVID, we did see some students that their families made the choice to unenroll and to pursue other options. And I think as a district, we're committed to chasing after those kids, whether they come back and re-enroll or not, making sure that they still have the same opportunities and the tools that we're extending to our students on campus. I also think another element is holding our teachers accountable. And you've got to do that in a supportive way, and you've got to keep your teachers energized. But as long as those teachers have the proper goals, they're as committed as anyone else to pushing those kids to close the gap and to excel like that we saw pre-COVID.
Ms. Weingartner, how can the district best support and retain qualified teachers and personnel?
I think that's a great question. And I think the obvious answer is always competitive salaries. Everybody wants to have a competitive wage. And we've got some very competitively paying districts around us. So we've got to continue to raise the bar and to stay on pace there. But for me, I think it goes so much further, because while all of us, the paycheck is very important, people need to feel satisfied in their jobs. And the teachers that I speak to day in and day out, they do their jobs because they love impacting lives. They love touching those students and pouring into them. So I think as a district, we have to do absolutely everything we can to give those teachers not only the tools for themselves to succeed and for themselves to perform, but to see success in their students. Because nothing motivates a good teacher and nothing attracts new teachers like a culture that fosters that environment, making all kids feel valued, finding the path that helps a child succeed, however different it may look from their peers, and giving the teachers the tools they need to deliver those paths, I think are one of the biggest draws that Canyon ISD has.
And finally, Mr. Snyder.
The starting salary here at Canyon ISD is $47,000 for the first year. By the end of their up towards the 25-year pay scale, I believe it ends up at $58,365. So we do have a great salary for teachers that are coming on board, and of course there is incentives for other teachers, instructors that want to go off to go be coaches, all these extracurricular activities as well that they can add into that. I believe in homegrown recruiting right here at West Texas A&M University, right here in Canyon. That is a great place to recruit fresh students that want to become teachers, get into secondary education, and make sure that we do welcome them with that loving and embracing part of the community. Make sure that they are welcome. They want to stay here and place their roots here after they finish their degree program. Canyon, Texas, the median household or the cost of living is around $73,000 a year, somewhere in there. So even if you do have like a low rent or something like that with these current salaries, it's very livable and obtainable to be here in this area and to hold those candidates or those teachers here.
Thank you very much. We appreciate both of you joining us. We're now going to move to the River Road Independent School District Board of Trustees. And there are several candidates in this race. Only two were able to join us, but the candidates are Amanda Brown, Danielle Coleman, Nikki Forrest, and the two that are joining us, Dorinda Keaton and Melinda Powell. And so we will start with each of you taking a minute to introduce yourselves to the voters. Ms. Keaton, please go first.
Well, first, I'd like to thank the Amarillo League of Women Voters for hosting this event. My name is Dorinda Romans Keaton. I've lived in River Road for most of my life. I graduated River Road in 1983. I've been married to Danny for 24 years this April, and we have two daughters, Allison and Olivia. When we married, we moved back to the River Road area to raise our family. My girls graduated in 2016 and 2020. My nieces and nephews have all went to River Road, save two that are in California. I am well invested in this district and community. I have a Bachelor of Education and a Master's of Public Accounting. I've been active in the River Road Booster Club since 14, and I believe I can be an important part of the conversation when it comes to providing quality education to our students, a great place to work for all the staff, and a supporting partner for our community. Again, thank you for having me.
And now, Ms. Powell.
I too want to echo Ms. Keaton in saying thank you for hosting us today and having this forum. My name is Melinda Powell. I am an assistant county attorney for Potter County. So with the focus on child protection law, so I do have an interest in keeping children safe and in the best interest of children. I have two biological children that I've put through the River Road School District. My baby actually graduates this year. My other child graduated in 2 years ago in 2019. Also have a child that I took in that graduated from River Road. I'm invested in the school district. I would like to see the district do well academically, athletics, in fine arts. So I would like to be involved just to see the district do well, and I believe I could assist in doing that.
Ms. Powell, many people who work in education believe there's been a loss of learning due to the pandemic, which has put students at a disadvantage. How do you think the district should address that?
You know, in my position at work, I've actually seen that with a lot of the kids that have come through the system that I deal with. You know, I think that the district has really done a good job stepping in and kind of making that up. I believe that, you know, the district can offer that additional tutoring for students. They can offer those additional resources for students. I think our district has actually done pretty well in keeping the children engaged. You know, the district voted to bring the children back in and do on-campus learning pretty early this year. And I think we just reach out and I think in any event, you find the students who need the extra help and you just make sure you provide that extra assistance to the students. And it just needs to be an individual thing for those students.
And Ms. Keaton, what are your thoughts on moving forward after the pandemic?
I echo again what Ms. Powell said. The district has really done a great job trying to bring those students back to school. At the beginning of the year, you know, we offered them either online or on campus. And right now, everybody, I believe, is pretty much on campus. It's the younger kids that we see that really didn't return to campus yet. You know, parents are probably scared and keeping them home. So they're really focused on making sure that we get all those kiddos back for this next year. There's going to be some reteaching of things, of course. But I think River Road has really done an excellent job so far. Luckily, my student who graduated last year, you know, missed out on her last part of her senior year, but she really thrived under she trained for this, she said, her whole life. So she did good, but we need to reach those other students that didn't do well on the online learning. But I think River Road has a really good plan in place.
Ms. Keaton, this next question is sort of a two-part question. The first part, how can or how should the district address the technology gap for students and families who have limited resources? And is there a role for virtual learning moving forward?
Yes, I do believe there is a role in virtual learning. All the colleges are doing it, so I think kind of this was a blessing in disguise, getting our kids ready at an earlier age for online learning, because at the college level, you get a lot of that online learning. The technology gap. River Road has really tried to fill in those gaps. And I know we've tried to expand things that we provide for the students. This next year, they're doing a school supply closet. And I know all the high school and middle school students had a laptop that they could check out and take home. I'm not sure on the elementary side, but River Road is really trying hard to make sure the students have what they need to learn, whether it be in the classroom or at home. So I guess that's my answer. Thank you.
It's a complex question. Ms. Powell, can you address the technology gap and the role or lack thereof for virtual learning in the future?
I know that River Road has already been addressing the technology issues. Both of my girls had laptops throughout their high school career that was provided by the school. The district has made it, and actually this year there was no charge for the laptops. And so they are really bridging that gap in that the district is one of the poor districts. So they are bridging that gap by providing that technology, those laptops free of charge. I hope they continue to do that. Technology absolutely belongs in the school district. Here we are doing this forum by Zoom. The earlier kids learn to do this, the better. I think this is going to become the norm rather than the exception in the future. I know in the court system, that's what we're talking about doing is Zoom court for the convenience. So, I think that this definitely has a place in the future, and the kids, the earlier they learn to be involved and do it, the better off they're going to be as they continue into adulthood.
Thank you. The final question, and we'll start with Ms. Powell. How should the district address shrinking enrollment and loss of funding?
That's a difficult one. I think the district needs to really reach out and I use the word advertise. Advertise what they have to offer these kids. Show people that we have the smaller district that can provide more individualized attention to the children. That in the bigger schools, and I graduated from a bigger school, that kids can get lost. And show that, at River Road, the kids aren't going to get lost. The kids who want to participate in things, they're going to have that opportunity to participate with the I guess the less competition and I don't mean competition sports wise within district, but there's fewer students who are trying out for the basketball team. If a student wants to play basketball, they're probably going to get to play basketball at River Road. So really, we just need to show the families and students what we have to offer them.
Ms. Keaton, your thoughts on how the district should address shrinking enrollment and loss of funding?
River Road has always been good about reaching out to neighboring areas, and I don't want to use the word recruit, but they've gone out looking for students to transfer in. Is it Fox Hollow, I think, Melinda, on Paramount or Pavillard and St. Francis? That home site, they're adding 50 homes. And so they say we will gain 2.4 students per house that's built. So River Road has that coming in for it too. And I think that will help with our funding, but also going out and finding out where all those littles are that didn't come back this year. Seeing where they are and making sure parents feel that our school is safe enough to bring all those kids back. And I think that'll help with both our numbers and then of course our state funding.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nikki Forrest. I am born and raised in Amarillo, and Amarillo will always be my home. I am married and have 3 wonderful boys. We love playing sports, particularly baseball, and we love to travel together as a family. I am seeking a position on the River Road ISD School Board of Trustees. I am a graduate of River Road and grew up in this wonderful community. I have fond childhood memories of elementary school programs, junior high sporting events, participating in homecoming and UIL activities with the same group of students I met in kindergarten. I take pride in being a Wildcat and desire to instill that purple and gold Wildcat pride into my own children. Students and educators need our support now more than ever with the ongoing changes of the state requirements. I am a Texas educator and have been in education for 16 years, so I'm no stranger to those continual changes. I believe that students need to learn how to work hard and be productive citizens of society. And I believe that educators and administrators need the support of the school board and their community to achieve this. I'm committed to finding ways to foster a supportive environment for success for our students. I appreciate your vote and the chance to serve River Road ISD.
Good evening. My name is Linda Vaughn, and I have the privilege to be the Director of Forums for the Amarillo League of Women Voters, as well as serving as Director on the board for the State of Texas League of Women Voters with diversity, equity, and inclusion and voter education. I would like to say first, thank you to each of our candidates, those who are participating with us live, and those who uploaded their videos. This took time, and for that, we are grateful. COVID has been a challenge to get out and mingle with people, but with the aid of our friends here at Panhandle Public Broadcast System, we've been able to continue the League's tradition of bringing the candidates to the people. So our heartfelt thanks goes out to the whole crew of Panhandle PBS, as well as our moderators, Jill Gibson, Leanne Overstreet, and Karen Welch. The Amarillo League works tirelessly to ensure that you can be informed and be an active participant in government through avenues like this forum and the publication of the Nonpartisan Voters Guide, which has already been distributed to over 100 various locations across the Amarillo and Canyon areas. We do these things with funds that we get from League membership dues, as well as your kind donations. The Amarillo League of Women Voters has approximately 96 members, and we'd love to add your name to that list. The League of Women Voters of the United States and all the leagues work tirelessly to make sure that people are a strong political force. I know that you're asking yourself, how do I join? Well, there are several ways, and let me tell you. You can contact a league member and they will get you an application. I know that you know one of us, or you can look us up on our Facebook page. Be sure to like our page, Amarillo League of Women Voters. You may go to our website, my.lwv.org, and download an application and send it back via snail mail to Amarillo League of Women Voters, P.O. Box 19333, Amarillo, Texas 79114. You can contact the League at our phone number 806-337-2148, or you may email us at amarillolwv@gmail.com. Our membership dues are $65 a year, $97 for a couple living in the same household, $5 for students, and there is a scholarship fund set up for students who are not able to afford that. Now, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to our president, Sonya Letson, and all the Amarillo League of Women Voter members who, for their hard work in making sure that you are aware of your voting rights and obligations, plus lobbying for those rights as we strive to give you concise information on all the elections so that you may stay informed. All of this is voluntary, and we love to do it so that people are educated on their rights. Again, we'd like to thank you for participating in our candidates forum.